Are you making demands like, hey, it's a business imperative, we got to move to the cloud, and everyone's dragging their heels over it? Or are you empowering your team to go to the cloud?
I think demands are very dangerous when it comes to being a security practitioner. So it's all about collaboration.
Most of the companies, what they've done is that they have created these security policies. What they don't see is the context. Threat modeling is key to really understand the context, to understand what controls need to be put in place, where, and what is the strength of that control that you need to put in place. Is security adequately staffed and trained to oversee the security aspects of this migration, which I have seen most of the companies I talk to, they don't have the resources.
As you're thinking about training your employees, it's not just the security practitioners that have to level up, the whole company has to. I don't think anyone really knows at that point because that migratory path is not a clear path for every company. And I don't believe there's a clean blueprint that's presented itself in my 15 years of doing security, and really 10 have been focused on these migratory movements towards cloud.
As you get more and more mature with the iterative process, well, now new questions pop up. And how do you answer those questions? So when you build a threat model, you start to understand the context. Mm-hmm. And there are always certain unknowns unless and until you kind of have that architecture diagram in front of you.
When you get into the threat model, it's not just like you as a security practitioner figuring out all this magic. It's the conversation. It's the engagement.
Almost every company I've worked with is always like, they always start with lift and shift. So they want to take all the applications and just bring them to the cloud and just run it over there.
What I've started to learn is kind of what we opened up with. Are we empowering our users to move, or are we just giving them a mandate to move to the cloud and to figure this stuff out on their own? And when you do that and you don't empower the team, it just leads to this toxic culture.
When you start to look at all these complex applications that need to be migrated, which are, again, not documented, not many people know about it, ultimately what they end up doing is weaken up the security policies because, hey, we have to make it work and we just don't know, but we need to do this in order to make it work. And now let's get an exception. Let's get the security guys to agree to it, and then we'll figure out later.
We are now going to be playing the Department of Yes. Migrate your workloads, data, etc., to a public cloud nobody has heard of. Why do you want to do this?
I think this may be a good opportunity for the organization. There are product design partners where if you can get in early and have these discussions to build out the features, I'm all for it, because you know what? You can build in security features too.
Security through obscurity. For me, that's perfect. When nobody knows about a cloud vendor, cloud service provider, they don't know how to hack them.
Make all business application cloud migrations the responsibility of the line of business heads. So let them decide which cloud provider to use and how to secure it. After all, they know their applications best.
Because now the business owners will actually embrace the concept of cloud migration because it's their favorite cloud service provider. And obviously they have connections there, so they can get the help from those cloud service providers to easily migrate and train their developers.
In certain size organizations, we're talking isolation of cloud environments and less commingling with those lines of businesses. So we're actually looking at a better control matrix when it comes to large federal entities that come into your world that say, how can I pivot from here to here? And why can I go from like a treasury line of business to, a personal credit line of business?
Well, we all know security by obscurity is just a false sense of security. If you're on a little known public cloud, they're still going to be able to find you. You may think it's reducing your attack surface, but it's really not.
One of the things that I've noticed over the years, the business just decides to go do things on their own, whether they are given permission to do so or not. As a result, the shadow IT thing has started to really wreak havoc on security organizations, because security organizations get blamed for things going wrong. So far, I've seen a lot of disastrous situations where the business was just willy-nilly going after the cloud migrations with their applications and not really consulting with security.
This comes from Richard Rushing, who I know is CISO over at Motorola Mobility. Cloud ownership. Who owns the cloud in your environment? Who do you deal with?
At the end of the day, they all kind of roll into the CIO. But we work with the security team to make sure that all the proper controls are put in place. Developers are trained to understand the cloud and the cloud security aspect, build a threat modeling process in place, an automated threat modeling process in place to speed up the migration to the cloud by removing security as a barrier.
I've had the legacy apps that will never move. And as a security practitioner, we're told to stand down often, especially if this thing is rendering hundreds of millions of dollars for X amount of customers, and they want a smooth process. And those change lead times can often dismantle that relationship. So the sensitivity around the business demand is a really important part.
From the developers, to engineering team, to your, business team, everyone should be educated on what exactly are they going to do. I need to understand that. I just can't be using things just based on my limited knowledge. If I don't understand the cloud components, then how will I understand the security aspect of those cloud components?
I think as part of threat modeling, it's just having an open mind. Like, you're going to stumble across some really ugly, nasty stuff. And as a security practitioner, like, don't freak out. Write up your memo, draft the risk, go communicate with conversation, but don't immediately start flipping out in a meeting. That's how you get fired, right? Like, that's how you lose your job as a security practitioner.
Now, a threat model can cater to different audiences, as Ty said, right? You have a different kind of output for your developers. You have a different kind of output for your architects, different kind of output for your red teams, and different kind of output for your executives. As you get your development teams to build threat models for the applications that they're migrating to the cloud, all this data can feed into that.
I think in the startup realm, you definitely want to have that human experience. So getting educated yourself, number one, is a big part of this journey. So just saying threat modeling is not a threat model. You have to really understand the context and be aware and understand how are you going to use that as a vehicle and a mechanism.